presented without comment. This is what he's decided on. I agree that it's very cool. I absolutely agree. Cal, this looks like a haircut I wanted when I was a kid. So
You do.
he's got a lot of options, right? Because his hair is really long.
You do want it coming down on the
Well, see,
if you can do.
folks seem to like the haircut.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, for sure. The mohawk's not just on the top. You got to get the
Yeah, he wants it to
got to get the
go down.
too,
Make
like,
sure you tell him
all the way down.
the neck.
All the way down.
Because we talked about that.
Have you met Ryan? Have you seen Ryan?
No.
Okay, Ryan will know how to do this haircut.
Good amount of hair on the sides, like not completely bald on the side.
Liz, I don't think we're going to color it. I don't think we're coloring it because we didn't make an appointment to color it.
He
You're
can, and it's easy to do, and he can do that. I would like it colored, but if he
Yes.
can, and we're not allowed to, and he doesn't want to do that.
We can color it in.
Here's the thing. Not with marker. Ryan can't color it tomorrow because we didn't tell them that was what's happening, and that takes a lot longer, and we don't have time for that. So, Calvin's going to go do some media time. He says these conversations. He's had it. So tomorrow, when we start stream, that's what it's going to be. He's giving me the eyes.
I tried.
Tried what?
I tried to get him to do what I want.
No, what he wants is great. What he wants is great.
Which is like,
I would love to see that flow. An age thing, I believe you. Yeah, but see, like, Gwen's showing me the skater haircut Pinterest board.
not or like this.
That's what it said, skater haircut. Yeah, that's what the mohawk will look like
when it's not sticking up straight.
Yeah, when it's not sticking.
That's what I was explaining.
Yeah. So they came down. Liz says you're amazing, Gwen. I agree. They've been looking at photos for a while this afternoon. So your iPad's on the counter down here. Right. Well, you put it on your iPad was in the middle of the desk, so I had to move it. Approve of the hog. Yeah, Liz, we were definitely talking about different options because his hair is long enough. You said he wanted it shorter. It's getting in his mouth. It's like getting all over the place. And maintaining it, yeah, he's chewing on it right now. Maintaining it like in a ponytail seems like a lot of work. So naturally, maintaining it in a mohawk seems like less. But regardless, this is going to happen. It's happening. It's happening. I don't care what. And let me be super clear. I don't really care what his hair's like to his body. I don't even. Yeah, I mean, I would prefer that. My only real hair stipulation is I would just prefer that someone cut it who is good at that, and that's not like me or Glenn or him. And flow hair does grow back. Yeah, hair grows back. I always tell the woman who cuts my hair, who's been cutting my hair for 12 years now. That's exactly what I say to her. It's like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to complain. I'll just let it grow out, and we can try again. Dude Mesa, thank you, appreciate it. These are a light sort of less. I can't even. Where the heck is the camera? Little less than Barbie pink, and they are chipping currently. I had a friend tell me today that the dip was better with the coating. I always get the gel. Okay, so let's get started today because we're gonna do some pasta, and I want to get started with that because it needs to. I need to knead it, and then it needs to rest for a little while, and certainly that will take some time. So while this rests, we'll make the rest of the meats, and then we'll make pasta. I am salting my pasta water right now because last time I made pasta, I forgot to salt the water and it was sad. The pasta was sad. It was homemade pasta that was not salted, and it was just sad. It was sad. So I'm salting it right now as I'm turning it on. I'm also finishing my tea from the playground. We had a really nice day here in Philadelphia. Um, it's always nice right up until the sun goes down, and then it's the playground gets freezing cold. Scale. Betty, good day. Good day to you. Um, taste the water before you put the pasta. Yeah, it would. I don't. I like always salt my pasta water. When I was thinking about streaming way back, like not way back, less than a year ago, when I was thinking about streaming, salt your pasta water was a Twitch name I considered, but I thought that seemed to be too narrow of a focus. Jen, welcome back. Glad you could come back. Negative 42. Nope. I'm assuming, it doesn't even matter if that's Celsius or Fahrenheit when you say negative 42. Um, high of 8, low of negative 4. Yup. Golly. Yeah, it was 12 here today, Celsius. So carry the one. Um, somewhere in the 50s, I believe. High 50s. I hard pass. Yes. I concur. I concur. So for pasta, this is the same pasta recipe I've used, several times on stream. And I'm using it again because I like it and it works. And uh, my compost bucket needs a fresh bag on it. Today was compost pickup day. One of the better days of the week. It's a fresh start in the bucket. Um, today was gorgeous. I can't wait for spring. Yeah, I can't. Today felt for just a few minutes like spring today, and it was wonderful. So for this, I need 2 eggs, 2 whole eggs, and 3 egg yolks. So I'm going to separate those here. 2 whole eggs, and then I want to separate these yolks actually directly into one of these because I'm just going to store them. We're at 32. That's fine. Flo, yeah, spring today. I said it felt like spring for like just a minute, and then like the moment the sun dipped behind the buildings, I was like, nope, still winter. Like it only feels like spring with the sun. One, two. I forgot to measure this bowl, or I forgot to do this on a scale. That's okay. This other bowl's the exact same bowl, so I'll just tear it with that. 2 and 3. People call you salty at work, Betty. There are worse things that you could be called. Salty is an attitude that I will own sometimes for sure. I was gonna cook tonight with you tonight, but forgot that you just finished your cooking that chicken. Hopefully next time. Yeah, that Lusama, that happens. Every once in a while, Gwen will text me from work, or she'll order something at work like super late, and come home and be like, I'm not really hungry. I'm sorry. And so for a while, for every once in a while, if she orders through like Grubhub and I get the receipt, I'm like, oh, you ate at work, didn't you? It happens. Okay, let's make this. Okay, this is up to a certain weight. So I need 2 eggs, 3 yolks, and water up to 180 grams, 185 grams. Um, True, thank you. I'll definitely take a look. I'll show Calvin. Negative 25. No, still also no. You're just, I don't know. I don't mind the winter when it gets down, gets down into like Celsius, when it's like past -5 or 6. I'm just like, no, no, thank you. Giving me a hard time. Yeah, it's, listen, today was the day where there was actual nice weather. I don't know why. I know why. Because the global average temperature is going up every year. But anyway, um, Fumedi 81. All right, settled. If you spread that out around the rest of us, we might all be somewhere around zero. 185. Perfect. Actually, it was 188. I hope I didn't mess it up. Um, okay, so I have these guys, and then I have flour and salt. So 300 grams of flour, 5.7 grams of salt. 300 grams of flour. 1, 2. Oh, that's too much. Wasn't paying attention. 3,000. Huh. That's adorable. That's exactly right. It doesn't, at that point, it doesn't matter. What's the point of, there's a point of convergence on the negative side of zero with Celsius and Fahrenheit. And I wonder what it is. No, Betty, it's supposed to be snowing. We haven't had snow this year. We have not had snow in Philadelphia, which is extremely rare. Is it -40? It is. Okay, awesome. I was like, I knew there was a point. There's like a point somewhere in there. Okay, 5.7 grams of salt. 2, 3, 4, 5.0, 5.5, plus a little bit more. All right. Good. Okay. Yeah, it hasn't snowed yet this year, and I'm a little disappointed about it. Because like snow day, like kids and snow, and like, and that's supposed to be fun. Um, okay, so next mix all this together. Let me get my mat out, and then we will need this on the mat. First, I'm gonna put this away. I just did the dishes. There were dishes from Friday in the sink. So I was in the process, frantically doing all of the dishes right before stream today, and these guys are the last ones to get put away at the room counter. Okay. Need my mats. Whoa. Almost knocked over a bunch of glass bowls that are just off screen. And this guy. All right. Perfect. And then let me get out. What do I need after the fact here? I need plastic wrap, and then on tray, I'm going to need some of this. All right. And then flour, I want a little container, a little pinch pot container. One of these guys. That'll do. All right. Jen, yeah, so far east here we haven't gotten any, and it's been annoying because I've definitely seen it. Like I've seen it on the radar elsewhere. We're gonna go away this weekend, Calvin and I don't think there's even supposed to be snow. I was hoping maybe there would be, but it's not. The buses don't run, but the schools are still open. That's going to be, I feel like that's going to be a really contentious issue for some people whose school districts are like going virtual, well, on school day or snow days. I feel like some people are going to be like hostile to that. I will be if we have one. Okay. Um, that water, I'm going to turn that down just slightly, because I don't want it to boil over while I have hands full of flour. Um, yeah, there's what band is it? Um, there's a band called the Weaker Thans that has a song called "I Hate Winnipeg," and it's all about the weather and how awful and how miserable they were there. Sounds like a lot, but like 10 currencies. This is new knowledge for me. Space and circles. Uh, that's cool. Okay, I now have a little bit more context. That's fun. I didn't know that Fahrenheit was based on was designed for astronomers. That's a cool fact. That's a good one. I like that one. I cross it off the list of potential places to live. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't cross it off. I would need more I would need more enticement. They didn't want negative temperatures. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I love Celsius because it's just like, well, it's at 100 is boiling and 0 is freezing. Like everything else is just somewhere in between, like easy peasy. Okay, starting to come together here. Let's get this mostly out, um, and start mixing this together with my hands instead of a fork. Okay, so I need it before I get both hands dirty. Let's set a timer here. I'm going to end up kneading this for 8 to 10 minutes. So, um, big enough salary? Sure, that might help. That's sort of like the entry to the conversation. Um, the Twitch streamer Cook with Kate has been up north, um, somewhere way up north, doing cooking for ice road truckers, and it's been fascinating to follow her, both her speed and her other socials, talking about the experience. Um, okay, so let's knead this. Let's just hit start on that 10 minutes. Just kind of keep incorporating this together. You could do that now, right? Though. um, put the heaters in. I don't want a shovel, but I'm fortunate that we don't have. We have like 10, 9, 10 feet of sidewalk. in front of the house, so it's really not even. I don't shovel when it's going to snow. I put down salt. That's all I do. Um, okay, get my fingers all cleaned off again. This is always sort of the gross part of the process. I'm not a big fan of this. But if you are, let's try this. And I need some pasta dough. So the pasta, I'm just going to make, I think like fettuccine, something thick, ribbony like that. Um, a heated driveway sounds like it would be really nice. I would rather have heated bathroom floors, but that's just me. I would also not rather not have a car if I was going to go that far. All right, just going to get this stuff off my hands. Big Teddy, welcome in. How are you this evening? Your evening. I would say it's evening here for me too. It's dark out. As Lemon says, good time zone to you. Yeah, I would. If I would love to spend more time in my bathroom doing spa like activities, and then I would be much into that. Ooh, yeah. The water, all of those things. If you like build it from the ground up, there's so many neat opportunities for stuff like that. What is factorial? Yeah, I'd love to have a four wheeler. I was talking to my friend the other day. I was over, and she was saying that she wanted to go. She was like, I don't know if it's worth it going to my parents' house to like take a long bath. I was like, of course it's worth it. She was saying they have like this huge cast iron tub, and I was like, sounds amazing. Do that. Okay, so let's actually start the kneading process here because this is now to the point where it's not sticky in my fingers as much. A building production and automation game. Gotcha. Okay. I've not heard of either of those. There's a lot of games I haven't heard of though, so don't take that personally. Okay, a little bit of more flour here. I'm supposed to use a different flour for this. Semolina, I think. It sounds fun. That Factorio sounds interesting. It sounds like a more niche version of the Sims, where teams is blowing up. Know the feeling. When Slack starts pinging, and you're like, no. I can't imagine having to dig up your whole driveway for that reason, and you know you'd have to every once in a while. I know. It's. I like to think it's because I'm the one that can answer the question, and people trust me to answer the question. It makes me feel both frustrated that it's happening and happy to be needed. Make yourself redundant. It sounds like we could be playing some Factorio in real life. It's like capitalism. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sensing a theme. That's really funny. It's still pretty sticky here. All right. Getting 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 better here. All of it, just like capitalism. Is there a game called just capitalism? That has to be, right? It's called The Sims, I think. Even in the kids' games, like that Tom Nook's always got some money earning opportunity, some pyramid scheme he can offer you. It's so funny. Tom Nook. I've never actually personally played Animal Crossing, but I've been in the presence of Animal Crossing so much that I like know enough about it to know that Tom Nook's just in it for a buck. He's also like, the only person on the island, so adventure capitalist is a game. Yeah. Understood on the usage of the word good when it comes to games of that nature. All right. Still a little tacky. Sort of like that last layer of wallpaper before you finally get to the bottom. Or those tiles that went in sometime in the 50s. He doesn't charge interest. You're right. Actually, what would that make him, man? Those are all fair points. All right. This dough feels really good now. Almost there. It's funny. I like pasta dough because you can just feel it when it shifts and you can feel like, yep, that's what that's supposed to feel like. And now it's there. Still feel like a little bit of graininess to it. I think it's picking up graininess off of the mat. So let's move some stuff out of the way. And we'll just do it like this. Got another minute of this, and it should be good. Kind of folding it in on itself and trying to get it into a ball, like a pretty consistent ball at this point. All right. Good. Just about there. So this will rest for maybe 30 minutes or so um, while I get the rest of my ingredients together. And then I'll roll this out. Then I'll make the sauce. And the uh, then we'll be ready. Okay. Good little pasta ball here. Pretty smooth. So it's smooth enough that it's having trouble catching on to something to look at. There you go. That's a nice, straightforward, smooth pasta ball. All right, let's wrap this up. Good timing. Let's reset that timer for 30 minutes just to keep track. We'll wrap this guy up. And you can just sit here. I know, right? And Jen, I want to eat this. I want to pluck little pieces off. I keep thinking of it like cookie dough, but it's not sweet. It's like not uh yeah, it's not going to be appetizing. I think I can let that sit at room temperature. I don't actually recall if it's supposed to be refrigerated. I don't think so. It doesn't have any butter in it. Um, it's just resting. So let's take this mat. Well, first, let's take this bowl. This can get cleared. So speaking of other food and drink streamers, I wonder if Dinner with Mom is doing anything to celebrate her favorite football team. I hear they did well yesterday. Um, and I'm curious. I was thinking before stream today, I was like, if I get the chance to, I'm going to raid Dinner with Mom this week because I'm from Philadelphia and she is from Kansas City. And I understand that that's important. Those two cities are important for people these days. Mix, you've redeemed Ask a Question. You you have my attention for a question. You have my attention. I have made more, but that doesn't mean that I have made good ones or that I have tangible experience to impart. But I'm willing to try. And if I can't answer your question, you can have your points back. How's that? Okay, let me get a towel here for my cutting board. And looking for tips. You got it. I am happy to provide some tips. Um, let me see. Pizza cream cheese, pappardelle or gnocchi, like using I know there's a ricotta. You can make gnocchi out of ricotta, and gnocchi is just flour and a mix. So usually it's like flour, water, and egg, right? Um, or potato. Sorry, um, potato and flour and egg. So I mean, I think I would look up. Like I would imagine that you could probably substitute cream cheese for ricotta and take some of the egg yolk out because it's a little bit more um, viscous than ricotta. But I know you can use. I know for gnocchi you can, but if you're talking about like for a sauce, that would be pretty straightforward. Um, yeah, it does. The fat and the cream cheese is what I'm thinking of. Like ricotta, you can make ricotta gnocchi, but I feel like you have to add quite a bit of flour. Um, quite a bit of flour to it. You probably don't need as much flour if you're making it with cream cheese, but it still has all the fat in it and it's tangy. Um, I bet you could do it. Like I'm pretty sure that you could make that substitution, but you might have to work on the ratio. I would start with less flour. I would start. If I was experimenting with that, I would start with a recipe that was for ricotta gnocchi, and I would start with less flour. I would just cut the flour in half and see how it's starting to form together, and just start adding in and keep track of the weight. Um, but I bet you could do it. I'm pretty sure you could do it. Okay. So sauce. Um, sauce is going to be butter and water. Cool, cool. I bet it makes a great sauce. Yeah, I mean that's just like creme fraiche or ricotta or any of those like soft cheeses. I've never put cream cheese in a pasta, but yeah, I mean it has the same sort of melty qualities. Um, pizza nuggets. So you mean to make something larger? Because if that's the case, and you're not boiling it, maybe if you're like baking it, you might like, because you can bake gnocchi too, like you might make something that you can just form together on like a sheet pan. Could be an interesting thing. I mean, I would use bread flour because that's what I have. Um, I don't know. I personally, honestly, don't know the difference between the two. I don't know if bread flour or cake flour has like anything that creates a rise. Okay. Yeah. I would start with the ricotta recipe and work backwards and just like start with the same volume of cream cheese and egg. And then on the flour, I would start with half and sort of dial it in so that it stays together like a gnocchi. Like have some boiling water, try to make one, boil it, see if it holds, kind of experiment. Um, but I bet you could do it. Um, and that would be then if you can put it in the boiling water, certainly you'd be able to put it in like a drop dumpling. Although if you put it in as a drop dumpling, it may um, it may not cook on the top side because if you're trying it boiling, so perhaps perhaps you could try to cook it in like a shallower pan where it's not going to get into the water. Um, but yeah, I would definitely start with the same amount of cream cheese and egg and just go back the flour off and add until it works. Um, I mean, my understanding is all-purpose flour is all-purpose flour, and you can use it for everything, but you're going to get better results um, for specific stuff. Like I know pizza dough, you're supposed to use like 00 flour. Master of none. Yeah, that's probably pretty fair. I I mainly use all-purpose flour. The only time that I don't is when I have pizza is for like pizza purposes. Because then I'll use something like then I will use like the 00. Okay, peas, green onion, mint, zest, juice, red pepper. I need Parmesan, pea shoots, and crab. Okay. Parmesan is here. Parmesan, pea shoots, and crab. Crab. Foods from the sea, it says. Look at this. Look at this can of crab. I got this from the fish guy, and it was a really good deal. It was the best price he's had on crab in like a long time. So I was like, all right, crab. Um, yeah, Liz, that's kind of where I just don't bake enough to justify, but it also like doesn't go bad. So I don't know. I feel like the next time it comes up, next time I get a recipe that's like, use this specific type of flour, I will probably buy it. Um, but typically I haven't like kept it around. All right. It ends off with these. I want to have just all of these green onions, however much this makes. Yeah, Mix. I think that's kind of what you're saying. What you're saying. If you're trying to create recipes and zero in on stuff, like yeah, that's really where it's if you've got a specific if you kind of keep coming across the same flour in a bunch of different recipes, that's when you're like, oh yeah, this seems to be the same. At least that's been my experience. Is like if I'm looking for a recipe and I keep seeing some like the same specific ingredient across a bunch of different blogs and resources, then I'm like, this is probably important. If it, From what I know of like recipe writing, a good recipe writer will try to, or a good recipe developer will try to use ingredients that are like commonly available or like the most common theme of the most common version of the thing. And I think that's sort of, you know, if you see one recipe that calls for double zero and five that call for all purpose, you can bet that you can use all purpose. I guess that's my point. Mix, but yeah, I feel on the bread flour, like I've never made bread, but when I make pizza dough, I do notice a difference. And I suppose that's a pizza dough is a type of bread after all. The bulk store sounds fantastic. We've got a couple of those in the city. Um, I don't get out to them, or I don't frequent them very often because they're not within easy walking distance. Well, they're within walking distance, but they're not necessarily within. They're not in my like market loop. So I would have to make a separate special trip for them. But that's a good call. I will keep that in mind if the opportunity arises that I need some specific type of flour. The Sprouts near me also has bulk bins, but I don't know what kinds of flours they have. I would it if there was a place called Bulk Barn that was easily available to me, I would absolutely use it. The closest thing that I can think of that's not, I mean, Sprouts has a lot of bulk stuff, but there's a place in Reading Terminal Market called the Head Nut that does a lot of good bulk stuff. And um, when I'm doing like holiday shopping or if I need a really specific spice, that's a good spot. You know, buying things in bulk is huge. I didn't mean for that to be a pun, but here we are. Or I didn't mean that to be whatever. Just ignore me. Um, I love bulk things. I love the Sprouts because when we go, they're just like, yeah, sample out of the bulk bins. Like we don't give a damn. So you can just go in and I'll take Calvin in there and he'll be like grazing out of the bulk bins and the Sprouts. I'm like, all right, I don't need to feed you lunch, do I? Big Teddy, we are making pasta today. So I'm making homemade pasta into which I'm putting several things, including crab, onto which I'm putting them. The only thing going in the pasta is normal pasta stuff. Um, Candy from the bulk bins is the best. The bulk, yeah, when you go in and you're just like sampling out of the candy out of the bulk bins, oh, amazing. We need a but tisk redemption. There was there might be a counter that's still act. There was a counter command. Uh there was a command that was like dad joke, exclamation point dad joke. That might be around. So that was like a count up command. But I never like talked about it, so no one ever used it. Um oh, that's mixed. That's a really neat thing to be able to have. Um Fresh ground nut butter. It sounds amazing. How many hours, Big Teddy? How many hours do you usually go between eating, between meals? There it is. That's very telling, Twinderella. What? Your eat schedule is horrendous? I find that if I just let myself go and eat naturally, I will eat all day. I will eat for the entire day. I'll graze. I'll eat something like every hour. That's why I don't do that. That's part of it. What are you having, Big Teddy? It's late. It's very late for you for dinner. Are you having is this did you have dinner? A little less than once per day. That's about right. To ignore a sparkly human. That's a really I love that mix. Thank you. Um I on days where I'm not intermittent fasting, I will eat consistently for the entire day. Okay. That is the last of the mint. Um oh my what am I doing here? Oh, my water's boiling. Yay, that's great. Okay, good. I want that to happen. Um is that a marker of neurodivergency in some capacity? I was not aware of that. Discovering new things every day. All right. So here's what I'm doing with this. I've got um, some mint and some pea shoots, and these are going to go both in the sauce as I'm making it and sort of wilt down, and are going to go um, into a like the top, like just mixed in on the top of the plate. So I'm going to spread these out across two containers because otherwise I'll forget. And I will 100% just dump these all in the sauce and have nothing to go on top. Hyper focusing. I'm very familiar with that as well. Mm. Next, I feel that too. When I rarely like eat while I'm streaming, and obviously I'm making dinner, but like now, so that's not what I'm talking about. But when I'm doing a longer stream that's not at dinner time, yeah, by the end of it, I'm just like, I need a glass of water and like some potato chips or something like that. Bad sleeping and eating schedules. Yeah, guilty, guilty. Interesting. I've I'm always curious. Ginger ale and cheese. Cheese it's for dinner. Cheesies. Yeah, it's sometimes you just don't want it at the end of the day. I know when I cook Thanksgiving or Christmas or like any sort of holiday meal, at the end of it, I'm always like, oh, now I have to eat. What I want to do is like take a walk. Forgot to put this camera. I usually stick to this camera today. Forgot to turn that one on. Oh well. Sorry, as they say in Canada. I mean, Cheez-Its and cream cheese is super tasty together. Do a that's what you could do instead of flour. You could use Cheez-It dust. Just kidding. It's probably not going to work. Oh, oh god. Yeah, mix. That's a yeah. When it's the holiday meal, I'm like, okay. Although I never fail to like put away several plates of food. Big Teddy, I feel that for sure. I used to um I used to drink a lot more coffee. I stopped drinking coffee and drinking caffeine back in October. Um, but yeah, there was many days where I wouldn't drink anything but coffee, like consecutive days. Um, and honestly, like I don't have a hydrate redemption on this channel, but for very intentionally because I just I'm so used to not drinking water throughout the day that like when I do, I actually feel weird. Also, then I have to use the bathroom a lot. It's kind of annoying. TMI? Sorry. Um, okay, lemon juice is good. Now I have red pepper, and I just need to get a little bit of Parmesan together, and this mise should be good to go. Um, I mix it, I quit caffeine cold turkey. I quit caffeine in the same way I've quit everything else that I've quit in my whole life, which is just to say I decided to stop and stopped, um, and haven't looked back. And the first week was the first 2 weeks of not drinking caffeine were so awful, like so awful. Um, and I don't, now I don't, I crave caffeine. Like I think about it often enough, but it doesn't, I don't, I don't get that afternoon headache anymore. That like, oh, I haven't had as much caffeine as I usually do. Like I would get an afternoon headache if I only had like 2 cups of coffee. So that's not good. We don't like that. No one likes that. Mix. I am guilty of calling uh, a cheese board an adult lunchable on this stream. I was called out on it the last time I made a cheese board last week that I had said that very thing, and it's true. Big Teddy, that is a lot to put on a kid. It's a lot of it's a lot of pressure to get to the table. Jen, yeah, anxiety for me hasn't changed after stopping caffeine. What's changed is my sleep schedule. I literally can't physically stay awake till the hours that I used to stay awake. Um, Anxiety still there though, very much still there. Um, congrats, Big Teddy. I know things like that take a long time to like come around, or to show effects, as I understand. Not a doctor. I am not a doctor. Full disclaimer. Okay. Um, Shockingly enough, I'm not a I know you're all surprised. All those medical streams I do. Um, yeah, Mix. I think I appreciate punctuality when it's warranted, but sometimes it's hard to say like it's hard to be like, hey, today you don't really have to be on time for dinner because it's like a quiche and it'll just stay hot. So like whatever, take an extra 5 minutes versus like, oh, today is like a day where I'm making a hot meal and I'm putting a fried egg on top of it, and like you need to be at the table before I fry the egg. You know what I mean? And we have both of those meals here on a regular basis. So I try not to like, I try not to stress punctuality. Where I get hung up is how long it takes to eat and like sitting at the table and actually eating versus sitting at the table and talking. And but yeah, we don't have the like be here at this time. Although I did say to Calvin the other day that we reiterated what the 10 at the end of stream means. I'm sure some of you have heard me say, like, hey, Cal, this is the 10. It's not, um, we sort of had to reestablish what that means the other day. So we'll see. That was between last stream and this one. So we'll see how that works today. Be on time, set the table. I tell you, those things seem reasonable. As a parent, I would like all of those things. I think there's probably a large diversity of ways to achieve that goal. Interesting mix. Yeah, that's yeah. And for me, I don't remember what exactly our like meal schedule was like at home. I don't think we had a set. I don't recall like a set meal schedule at home. Um, I bet it's really helpful. I know it's help. I know for me, the concept of consequences. Yeah, for me, a routine is super important. Because it's sort of like I just start the day and it like the routine kind of like I like flick the snowball down the hill. By the time the end of the day comes, it's huge, and it's that's the routine. Mm, yeah, I think it's interesting how they've lumped those together. I didn't know that. Keep refrigerated, no problem. All right, what is this? How much meat is in here? This is a pound. So I'm going to use this whole thing, which is cool. Mm, mix. That's a very fine line too. Some kids that are Calvin's age have like a full on chore list and they get allowances and like, yeah, it's for me, it's like exactly kind of what we were saying, like the values, like I want you to be on time for dinner, but I don't need that to be punitive. I don't need you to feel, uh, like there's going to be like something bad's going to happen if you're not. Um, okay, so let's kind of go through this. This is a pretty thoroughly packed can. Damn, that smells good. I love crabs so much. I'm just going to kind of pick through this a little bit. This is all pre-cooked meat, already shelled. There shouldn't be anything to do here other than to put this in the sauce after the pot after the before this goes in the sauce after everything else, but before the pasta. Interesting. Yeah, mix. It's wild how like medical designations are rooted in that in like a really negative, harmful history. Pasteurized crab meat. That's the word I was searching for. No, pasteurized. It's good, meaning you can eat it out of the can. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay, Misa's ready. Um, let me put this on a separate one here so I can move it around nicely. Okay, this is going to be for topping. lemon, greens, peas, zest, Parmesan, and that are for topping. Butter is for the sauce. Okay. So this can just go and hang out over here for a few minutes. I already salted the pasta water, but I'm going to salt it again because I don't think I put enough in. Like thinking back on it, I'm going to over salt it. It's going to be the saltiest pasta you've ever had. It's going to be so salty. And how to iron pants. Yeah, Big Teddy, my perspective is that you should know how to do those things, not because they're chores that you're meant to do, but because it's just part of like managing yourself as a human. And it's just like the things that you do. It's sort of why I don't why we haven't leaned in on like anything like a chore. It's just like I don't want to put that in as a like thing to do every week. I want you to like keep your bedroom tidy because that's where you live. That's like I'm trying to cultivate that as opposed to the like I'm afraid to not have my bedroom clean. Timer just went off for the pasta. Um, Miso, brown sugar, molasses, and chili. Miso, brown sugar, molasses, chili. Yes, this is the chili you were talking about last week with the miso that sounded so exciting. Dads are the best ironers. Yeah, it's because mom is sick of ironing his shirts. Um, I remember when I was a kid, my mom when I first learned to mow the lawn, I had to go back out and do it like multiple times because it like wasn't right. I remember being so annoyed about that. Like, yo, I'm figuring out how to use this mower. Cut me some slack here. Okay. So this pasta is good coming out of here. Definitely I'm going to need some flour on this because it is sticky. Probably should have put this in the refrigerator if I'm guessing, but I didn't, and that's okay. It'll be fine. Um, Big Teddy, that's kind of it. I didn't have to clean and wash all the time, but I had to know how to do it. Yes. Smoked paprika and cayenne and chili powder. The only one of those that's like I would worry about having too much of is the chili powder, and then not even. But you're a big spice person, so that shouldn't matter. I haven't ironed an article of clothing in over 5 years. If I need to iron an article of clothing, I would like to second guess why the need to article iron that piece of clothing exists in my life. An absolute hellion and wild child. Yeah, so maybe some of that was useful for you. Okay, 495 divided by 4. Wait, 495 divided by 4 equals 100, about 123 grams each for my 4 pieces of pasta dough. So let's get cracking here. 123 times 2 is 246. Mm, close enough. Okay. It's now about 123 per 110, 135, close enough. And then 122. Look at that. God dang. 127. Perfect. Okay, let's wrap these up. Um, how to give a proper handshake, and how to look someone in the eyes. Still don't know how to iron. That's fine. That's fine. I don't actually think you need to know how to iron. I don't know. That's not true. I do know where our iron is. I was going to say I don't even know where our iron is, but I do know where the iron for this house is. It's in the kitchen cabinet because the last multiple times it got used was for those little plastic button things that you iron and they stick together. Um, that makes sense though. Like obviously that was an important part of your dad's identity was crisp, clean, and obviously that value is being translated in probably the best way that he knew how. Okay, let's get this guy situated here. Um, a firm handshake. I don't think I heard about a firm handshake until I was in the Boy Scouts. And Bush, welcome in. How are you? It's just McDonald's. Hey, McDonald's doesn't take everyone. All right, good. Pasta roller. And I also need a pasta cutting board. I want the bigger one. Let's use this one. Please don't let all the dishes fall over. Okay, cool. Okay, pasta cutting board. I'm still getting everything set up. Okay. Then a knife with a cutting. And then a place for them to land. That's over here. And then a cover for that, which is this. And flour. Okay, cool. Um, Knowing how to iron has helped you a lot with sewing. Mix, that's a great reason to know how then. Sewing, knitting, and crocheting are all good skills to learn. I agree. A full polishing kit. That's great. That's amazing. That's amazing. Um, yeah, I think learning the skills is important. If you can come out of childhood with the skills, but not the trauma around them, you're doing great. I'm doing very well. I think it's a slow. I feel like today was a slow start to the week. I hope it continues like that. I've never felt traumatized by my past. Well, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. I think everyone experiences their childhood a little differently. So some folks may not have had that same perfect, might not have reacted the same. It's all, it's all relative. All right. So this looks good on pass number one. Let's start thinning out on pass number two. I agree, Big Teddy. I think, it's a lot of lessons. It's a lot of lessons. I could have I could have lived I could have achieved I think mine is like I could have achieved those lessons in a less harmful way. Some of them anyway. And everyone has their own experience. Okay. So we're on to three. Lessons without the luggage. Heard. This is all. I love this hand crank thing. I didn't think I would, but I've been really happy with it. I was skeptical at first. Never throw the first punch, always throw the last. Yeah, that is an approach. I probably wouldn't. I as try as I might. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be throwing the last fight in a last punch in a fight. That the KitchenAid pasta mixer mix is a good one. Um, I like it. I've moved to using the hand crank one because I like them. It's more precise. I like that I can do this part slowly so that it doesn't get sucked in um, and ruined. Because that's the KitchenAid. Like once it gets stuck in there, you can't stop it in time. It's just gone. You have to start that whole pasta roll again. Um, so I think for me, I've been partial to this one just for that reason. No other reason. I think the KitchenAid does a great job. Okay, we are actually this is six, but six hasn't given me this much pasta before. This is quite a bit of pasta. Um, I have so many hand crank tools. Thank you, Jen. Um, yeah, I sort of like the precision of the hand crank. Uh, I like how it Yeah, I really just like how it doesn't suck the pasta in, how you get the chance to like be like, whoa, 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 too much. So we're going to flour both sides of these, roll them, cut them, and move to the next. Floured. Enjoy the topics. That sounds great. Got to move the chickens out of the way. This is coming. Interesting. This definitely made more pasta than it has in the past. Not um, not more. I don't know. I just maybe I rolled it. Maybe last time I only rolled it to five. That might be it. Um, not sure. Let's make these a little bit shorter or thinner. I'm gonna do like fettuccine size noodles. I love that hand rolling thing too because you can do. I'm not doing this. I started doing this, but then I immediately stopped. But you can actually like count the number of noodles that you have, which for someone like me is super satisfying to know. Okay. Um, I'm Big Ted. I'm reading this comment about the pasta machine. Let's keep the machine running. Yeah, I mean, listen, that sounds like someone with some skill at operating that machine. That also reminds me of like, you know, in public bathrooms when they have the random towel, like the if you've ever seen the like the towel in the hand thing, it's like you dry your hand and then pull it and like more towel comes out, but it's the same towel. It just gets sucked back in. So unhygienic. That's what that reminds me of. Yeah, I bet it looked like that. I bet it looked exactly like it. That's really funny. Uh, that sounds like a sort of Rube Goldberg device for pasta, which is fun. Mhm. Okay. Pasta thing number one done. So these look good. Basically, I'm just going to have like 4 piles of pasta that I'm going to throw into a pot. Um, and they'll hopefully not stick together because I put enough flour on them. Okay, that's good. Pasta number one. Pasta number two. Your turn. Big Teddy. I bet it did. I bet it got even because it's not like the what I'm doing right now is very inaccurate in terms of like where I'm putting it in, the machine speed, and all that. So try to loop it through here. No. Oh yeah, sort of. Seems like a good thought, but I think I would need the KitchenAid for that. I would need the KitchenAid mixer, I should say. It's not pasta until you cut it. It's just dough. That I like that. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to I'm going to borrow that. So I don't if you don't mind. It's not pasta until you cut it. I would love. I thought before about just like what if I just like cooked a whole sheet of this, just like dipped it into the pot. Seems like it would be fun. I will. Okay. Last one through the roller for this one, and then we'll start to size down here. Actually, no, we're not. That's not smooth enough. We'll roll that through one more time. That got a little weird. It would be lasagna. It definitely would be lasagna. It is, yes, it is wild. It is super easy to make pasta. It's just more time consuming. That's all. It just takes a little longer. But this process is super satisfying. And for me, like, I try to think about like, oh, if it's a weeknight meal, I want to keep it under, like, I'd like to keep it ideally under 2 hours, you know? And so pasta, like homemade pasta, is like just on the edge of that. But like, I've made a bunch of stuff on stream that's taken way longer than that that wasn't pasta. Pasta is sort of like a known entity. It's going to take me an hour of the stream to do the pasta, and then as long as I can wedge everything else in, I can do it in 2 hours. Okay, that's 3, 4, 4, 5. What did I do the last one? 2, 6. Yeah, so easy to mess it up. Yeah, big time. I mean, the thing with pasta though is when you do mess it up at any stage except for after you put it in the water, you can go back and like do it again. Okay, 5. That's 6. So let's do this time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this out as I'm rolling it out, and we're going to cut it right as I'm rolling it out. Maybe. You can do it, little pasta. Go. There we go. Now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do this because this will stack, and then I'll roll it out from the top. Okay. Little pasta friends. 1, 2. And we get 3 or 4 out of this one. That must have been one of the larger of the pieces I put in first, because this one only gave me 3. So some of them weighed just a little more than the others, and that first one must have been one of the larger ones. Okay, cool. Easy peasy. Made butter for Thanksgiving. Like churned it? Wow. That's impressive. It's impressive to just make butter in general. Whether or not you churned it by hand is, I don't think. I don't think that is the make or break for whether it's impressive. Right? Can you can you imagine the magic the first time you find out that you can put cream in a blender? You can put like milk in a blender and make whipped cream? Like mind blowing. Mind blowing. Okay. Next. Okay. 1, 2, and last one. All right. Definitely not by hand. Fair. I wouldn't churn it by hand either if I was making butter. That's a machine job by this point in our evolution. Cook it until it became butter. Was was your nana also a bartender? I'm just imagining her like shaking flour. Okay. These guys look good. I'm just putting a bit more flour on here so that they less likely to stick together. And now noodle deposit number 2. Okay. At least one more. Then it's not difficult. It's just time consuming pasta. And it's not even that time consuming once you get into it. It's time consuming. I think the difference with pasta is that it's such a different thing than other things that I make for dinner usually, that it requires like additional equipment. The counter gets dirty in a different way. It's a little more fussy. That's it. That's part as a complainer. That's really funny. 83 and still split living room firewood. I want to get there. That's like, you know what? If it's possible to do, I would love that to be, I would love to say that about myself someday. It's fantastic. Still, still, still handy with an axe as an octogenarian. What do the kids say? Goals. 3. Let's go with 4. So this one kind of came through the first pass, the first like real thick pass really easily. So I only did one additional little pass before I started coming through the numbers, which is why this one's going a little quicker. So it came together quicker. Some of them are just easier than others. Her religious convictions. Yeah. Don't I wouldn't go trying to change someone at that age. Not worth it. Think about how adamant you are about things and then multiply that by whatever your whatever your age up to 83 is. Those have been convictions held for longer than you've been alive, probably. I see. Spite is a fair reason. And spite is a fair reason for many things. Okay, we're on 6. So let's get through this last little bit. Come this way. There we go. And now we've got 1, 2, and then 3. Just 3 again this time. And this 3 is even a little smaller. I can be pretty spiteful and petty at times. And self-aware, which is huge. You know what, Big Teddy? I bet she prays for you every day. And you know what? Say what you want about prayer, but it is a nice thing. If someone wants to do that for you, even if you don't believe in it, let them. What harm is it doing to you? That's my philosophy. That's my new philosophy. What show is that from? Pretty much given up. Well, out there splitting the wood, hoping for your soul. All right. These little noodles are going to be fun. This is like a short sheet. You'll know if you get one of those because you'll be twirling and it'll be like, "Whoa, where'd it go?" I'm going to cut all these at once this time and see how that works out. I'm just going to make this 4th noodle sheet too. I was thinking about saving it. I've been saving some of them, and I've got 3 in there, but I find that like 3 sheets of this recipe isn't quite enough. If I wanted to make like a little more each time, I need to put like more. I need to scale the recipe up a little higher. That's right. That's right. As long as if you are happily living parallel, there's no need to intersect in those areas. There's only occasionally will I find it worth climbing that hill. And you're still family. You're helping out. That's nice. That's a good thing. It's hard to find commonalities with families between generations like that sometimes. There's a very distinct divide. And there's a very distinct like willingness to learn that I think stops for some people. I don't know what age that stops, but certainly it varies and is probably as young as like 0. All right. Last noodle basket. So this is a good bit of noodles here. And these guys are all still doing pretty well. Yeah, I'm a big fan. There's certain like I'm definitely a live and let live person. I think that extends only so far. I think if your practices are not harming someone else, then I don't really care. And that said, I also don't think that like, certain things like politics, like mixing politics and religion, I can't get down with that. So if you're coming at me with some political opinion, it's not a religious opinion, I'll tell you that. But like as far as religion goes, do what you want, man. You're not harming me. If you are harming other people, though, I'm not a fan of that. It doesn't just extend to me if your religion is harmful. Okay, let's get the last piece through here. I don't want to get on. I don't want to get on the soapbox, but I think, yeah, if someone wants to pray for you, let them pray for you. That means that they care about you. Why don't you just take that and let them do their own thing? Okay, last little bit. And Big Teddy, I wasn't trying to knock on you for that. Let me just be super clear. It's it's totally fine if you're like, Grandma, lay off about the religion. I didn't think so. I just wanted to be super clear. 3. Let's do 4. 4. Let's do 5. This part. This is where I really prefer the hand crank because I can keep it from bunching up in the edge. Like there's an edge over here, and um, when it gets too close, it starts bunching and pilling and sort of pulling the rest of it over. And with the hand crank one, I can stop that from happening as it's happening and make like a minor adjustment. Whereas the KitchenAid, it just gets sucked in and you're just like, oh God. Jen, I think you could. I think you could. I've never used it for that purpose, and yeah, it is the right term. I feel like a laminator um, would need to be. I feel like this is too. You might be able to laminate dough on the first setting here, but I feel like this might be too thin for much past that. I'm not a baker, so I'm not super sure if there's a cause to get dough this thin in baking. But I know that you could. I mean, it's the same sort of principle, I believe. Big Teddy, I feel similarly. Offend me personally? No. Will I recognize and say something if you're saying something offensive generally? Sure. Very little is going to offend me as a human, though. Oh, she did. I was, Big Teddy, I was watching just a very little bit of that stream yesterday, actually. It's funny. Um, the pasta, if she was making pasta, I don't know if you could do it with a dough, like for like a pastry or something. Oh gosh, I've let this bunch up and now it's, yeah. See, look at that. Last one. Had to mess it up on the literal last one. Let's just put this through here again. We'll put this through. Oh shoot, that's not one. We'll put this through a couple times here, and then we'll re-roll this last sheet. Yeah, I mean, laminating is basically just like what I was doing originally, which is like folding, and then rolling out. Um, but I know for dough specifically, there are like laminating machines that look very similar to this. I'm pretty sure that have a wider mouth to them or a wider feed. Yeah, because laminating it by hand is a lot of work. 4, 5. This is actually super convenient to do it this way with just like one sheet. I wonder if in the future this might be a good method. Okay. Yeah, these noodles. This one, of all the ones that I made, this last like noodle thing probably feels the best. Yeah, proper laminator. Like pastry with the butter in it is definitely where my head was at. I don't know. I feel like you could. Like I feel like the widest setting on this, you could do like a pass or two. I don't think you could finish it with this. I think you'd still need to have some level of uh, hand involvement. It's turning my water up because I had turned it down a little bit ago. I was like, oh, I'll remember to turn that back up. No, I won't. I didn't. Yeah, these noodles are like thick, thick. Okay, last last little bit. Earlier, I said, oh, I need like semolina for this. That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking of pizza. This is the right flour for this. Um, yeah, it's just creating layers of anything, laminating. I'm assuming that's what it's called with pasta too. I know for dough, that's what it is. Okay. Well, water was on the verge of boiling already, so good. Now it's just about it was just starting to boil over back there. You can see the red on the flames from the water. Okay, so that was still hot. Never mind. I'm not as worried about it. And you just fold it in. Okay, last little pastas. We're done with the pasta making. Look at that. Right at almost 1900 hours. So we're going to be not too much longer here because I've got everything ready. Let me just clear up my counter now and reset for cooking. Reset for heat. When I'm cutting the pasta, I don't think I'm using a lot of pressure. I probably am though. I was I was I was bearing down because the first how did I even clip this in here? There we go. The first one that I was cutting wasn't cutting all the way through. So I did bear down a little bit. I might have been. I might have been. It doesn't need to, but it that may be true. Okay. Um oof. Now is when I need those like non-stick kitchen shoes because there's flour over here and I'm like my feet my feet are slip sliding around. Kind of fun. Kind of fun, kind of annoying. Not gonna lie. Okay. Clear this. Get the flour off of here. And then let's make some dinner. Okay, flour is done. So make pasta, mise, roll pasta, sauce. Okay. Okay, we're going to move over to the stove for some sauce here. So let me uh, get this ready. I have to move this camera real quick. And okay, here's what's up. I'm going to turn this water on so that it can boil. I'm just going to leave that at a rolling boil. Let's see about the stove view. How's that? Okay, that's good. That's decent. Okay, so stove. First, you want to do a little bit of butter. So where did I put the butter? Butter's over here. Let me also get the chat up here um, before I start putting heat on things. I need a better chat app for Twitch. There's there we go. Stream Manager. Yeah, the native chat app on Twitch is really bad for mobile, and I just haven't found a better one. I was using Streamlabs, but that has gone away now that I'm not using Streamlabs anymore. Okay, so first thing, we melt some of this butter in. So let's just get this all melted. Then I'll have kind of a bunch of stuff going in here in different times. So I'm going to make the sauce in this pan here, and then I'll bring the pasta over directly from the boiling water. So my water is just boiling away over here. Butter is melting. So butter, let's see, order of things here. My butter and a little bit of water. Then I want the peas, green onions, then the red pepper, then the zest. And then once that's done, we'll cook the pasta real quick and have that have that go in, and then the crab, the greens, and then the lemon, and then we finish it. Whew, that's a long day, Liz. I'm sorry to hear that. That was a heck of a day for a Monday. You really didn't get any break to start the week. I know for a lot of people, Monday's like the easy day. I hope you weren't expecting an easy day and got the day that you got. That's even worse. 1,000 emails? Good Lord. Archive. Select all. Archive. No, that's not how it works. Darn. Potato soup with bacon today. I was expecting hell and got hell. Well, at least you're aware. Okay, we'll put about half a cup of water in here. This is just water out of the pasta pot. So we're gonna let that come in, foam a little bit. And now let's add the peas. Peas. All right. Peas, 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 peas. Anything that didn't get handled in 2 weeks is irrelevant is probably the best approach you could have. Yeah, anything that says the certain things in it. Yeah, I got you. Just filter it all. Everything that has the word Teams or Jira or ticket. Anything that doesn't have my exact name in it. It does. It definitely. I got that. You feel like you need a trip again. Yeah, it goes away because like no one did your job while you were there, while you were out. Okay, a little salt or a little pepper. Some pepper. Let's put some salt in here. This is salted butter, so I don't want to put as much as I probably would. Okay. Peas, onions, pepper. This is good. Me me yell for the family here. We're about 10 minutes away. All right, she didn't hear me. She's upstairs. Just had to give the 10. That's fine. Okay. All right. She's got notice. Calvin's got notice. And we are good to proceed with making some noodles. God. List. I hope you just had a standard message for all of that. That would have been an absolute just standard message procedure for me. All right, let's add the zest in here before I drop the noodles. Ooh, gosh, that smells really, really good. Okay, noodles are going to go in, so let's take a trip over here to our boiling pot. And this might be more exciting than the watching the sauce. So let's just start putting some noodles in here. Ooh, 3. Almost. I'm definitely cooking all of these. Almost there. Okay. And that, as they say, is that for the noodles. Noodles are in. Let's give these a little stir here. I don't know why these have floated to the top. They're early volunteers, I suppose. Okay. So I'm just going to take some tongs here and start pulling these out. These are good. These are definitely going to cook a little bit more in the sauce. So I don't want to have these be too in here for too long. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Oh, they're salted. Thank gosh. All right, I need to move the camera for this because I can't do the transfer with the I can't get the tongs high enough. It's just kind of slopping these noodles in as they're coming up to the surface here. I'll start using the spider because they're getting a little bit thinner in between. Okay. Okay, we've got just a few stragglers left in here, and then I can start stirring this in. And I still have to add the crab meat in here. So that's gonna add some volume for sure. Okay. Pasta. Pasta is totally out of the pot. Okay, so now into the pasta, I want to stir the crab and about half of the greens. Oh, I just tossed a little crab over the side of the pot. That's not good. I don't care how dirty my stove is. This stuff is not worth wasting a single drop of. I'll stir this in. It's funny, it smells like tuna at this point. No, there's the crab smell. My favorite kind of nudes. Yeah, man, these are looking good. Pretty happy about these. Wait, I need to turn the water still. I'm over here on my right, just boiling away. That game has zapped all of your brain cells. Yeah. I mean, you have been playing it for 8 hours and 30 some minutes at this point. Okay. About half the greens I'm mixing in. And the juice of one lemon. And that is going to be the final ingredients here. This is definitely salted enough. I salted the water and I salted the sauce. The crab was already salty as it is seafood. But this is it's wilting down these greens. Still just tossing pasta and sauce out of the pot. Thank you. It's smelling good. I'm just kind of trying to get the internal. I'll keep this mixed throughout. So I'm just gonna kind of pull it from the inside a little bit. Creating some lamination of my layers of pasta here. Okay, so this is good. This is a finished dish. And now, let's see. Yes, lemon. On the top is going to go greens, salt, pepper, and just a drizzle of olive oil. Tidy Whiteys, welcome in. Tidy Whiteys, did we get the 10? Did you get my text? Yes. Yes, we did get the 10. I texted you 8 minutes ago that the 10 was happening. You're right on time, Gwen. Your sense of uh dinner time readiness is very accurate. All right. Go birds indeed. Go birds indeed. I actually watched a football game yesterday. Go Piggers. Um I did. I watched a football game yesterday. I watched the whole game. I turned off the other one now because it wasn't the Eagles. Some Cash Cup Fortnite game. Is that still going on tonight? Can we watch that? Um, okay, so we're ready. I'm assuming that was what you were going to ask me. I assume that pretty much everyone in the city watched the Eagles yesterday. I think it's a pretty safe bet. At least that most people did. I did. I shocked myself. It was exciting. It was exciting too, and then it kind of wasn't because they were like winning, but like winning is also exciting. Big Teddy, there was a American football playoff game yesterday between our hometown Philadelphia Eagles and another team, the 49ers. Calvin says, um, and that means that the Philadelphia Eagles, because they won, get to go to the Super Bowl, which is, if you're not familiar, the ultimate contest between two NFL teams to see which one is the best American football team. So the Eagles get to play in that this year, which is pretty exciting. And so people from Philadelphia were super excited. And I got on the bandwagon, made nachos, did the thing. Watched the game. We did not go down to Broad Street. A lot of people in Philly, whenever anything remotely interesting happens in the world of sports, people go down and hang out on Broad Street down by City Hall. I did not do that. The food is the best part of the Super Bowl. I agree. I would rather be in the kitchen making the food than watching the game, but you know, that is me. Okay. I didn't add red pepper to the mix here. I meant to, then I didn't. So just going to add a little bit on top. And then I'm going to sprinkle some of these fresh pea shoots, fresh what have yous, all in here. We'll make this look fancy, like a real food person made this. And then we'll take a picture of it. That one's brown. Not a good one. No Broad Street for you? Yeah. It's just not my style. Listen, I didn't go to Broad Street when they won the Super Bowl the last time. So I'm not going to go down to Broad Street when they won not the Super Bowl for the second time. That's my new philosophy. Okay, camera is all weird. There we go. Yay, it looks like pasta in my camera. Okay, let's give this a try. Well, before that happens, and show you what our final product looks like. So this is a homemade pasta. In here, the sauce is a real basic with butter and water. So super easy. There is peas, green onion, or green onion. You could use chive in this too, I imagine. Why is that not focusing? There we go. Cool. Perfect. Okay. Green onion. There are pea shoots and mint are the greens. There's lemon zest and lemon juice. Lemon juice in the sauce too. Red pepper and Parmesan on top, and crab. There is lump crab meat in here. And that is dinner. That's what we're going to have for dinner tonight. So let's give this a shot and see how we made out. Thank you. It seems like it'll be good. I'm hopeful. Big Teddy, I don't follow any sports either. It was exciting. Like, I think everyone in the city was like excited about it. So I got excited about it too. Mm. Well, it's salty. This is really good. I'm super happy with it.